This is an interesting development. Al Lowe, Sierra developer, most notable for his creation of the Leisure Suit Larry series. He worked on a bunch of other Sierra titles. He's starting to go through all his old Sierra stuff, all the old software he has, source code, and he's starting to put it up on eBay. Friend of the show, Metal Jesus Rocks, went with Drunken Master Paul, then went to Al Lowe's abode and went and did a nice video walking through a bunch of this stuff. And I believe on his Patreon there was even like a 30-minute video. I just went through the 12-minute video. There's a lot of stuff that people haven't either seen before, stuff that's very rare, that he had in the video, that's also on eBay right now that Al Lowe's putting up. So for example, this stuff is like, there's still like days left on this stuff. If you go to his eBay, a Sierra Christmas card that went through the office is up right now. It's at $405. I would love to see what's just on that.
Yeah.
A copy of Soft Porn Adventure, which was the predecessor to Leisure Suit Larry. It's a text-only game.
I like the story behind the Soft Porn Adventure. The one that he's selling. It was given to him by Ken Williams when he was making Leisure Suit Larry, because the copy of Soft Porn Adventure that Al Lowe was using, or that Al Lowe had played that was inspiring him, was a pirated copy.
That's funny.
So Al Lowe gave him just a loose official copy, and the one he's selling off, he's like, yeah, of course there's no box and manual. It was just given to me loose, but it's a fun piece of history.
So obviously since Al Lowe and its piece of history is going for more than I would imagine this usually going for. It's obviously hard to find. Then we get to the bread and butter here that's for auction right now. Source code to Leisure Suit Larry 2. The source code is at over $10,000 with 5 days left at the time of recording this. Wow. And the source code of Leisure Suit Larry 1 is at over $10,000. Well, they're at the same price right now, which I think is interesting. $10,110. Wow. So that's history. And then there's rare games that he worked on before Sierra Online. Boppa Bet, Apple II game, which is, it's like one of those games they put in stores locally. It has a little Ziploc around it.
Nice.
That's at 10 grand. Wow. And a game called Dragon's Keep that Al Lowe also did, that's at only 1,300. I guess because maybe more of those are out there than Boppa Bet. Boppa Bet was an educational game. So these are games that were probably produced in extremely low quantities. I think I saw a number thrown out, maybe only a couple hundred of these were made. Like all those early games that you put out that weren't nationwide. Yeah. You basically, locally had them printed up. You put them in a couple local stores maybe at most, and that was it. So for people that are historians, that either are computer game historians, they may want these just because maybe there's not a copy. I don't know if there's a Boppa Bet ROM out there or whatever, or it's not download anywhere.
I mean, technically, you could potentially take that source code, recompile it, and
I'm just saying having a copy of the game. There might be another one that exists for Boppa Bet, let alone the source code for. I'm just talking about these two individual games that they may not be out there at all. The fact that it's going for $10,000 makes me believe that maybe there's another copy that's ever been found.
I ain't got the money, but the source code for Black Cauldron looks like it's going to go up at some point, and that's real exciting.
And then when you look at some of the other stuff that Al has in the video, he has games that other Sierra titles I didn't know about. There's a game called a Gelfling Adventure, which is a children's game based upon Dark Crystal.
Using the same assets from the Dark Crystal game.
I've never even heard of that before.
Oh, really?
I never heard that was a thing. So that's supposedly extremely rare.
Yeah, I didn't know about. I think I've heard of Gelflings, but I've never seen that. I've never even seen screenshots of it. But I know about the Dark Crystal.
This is stuff again in the video. He has a Black Cauldron game, there's Winnie the Pooh game.
Yeah, the Black Cauldron source code is actually something that I'd be really interested in. So
it's good that this stuff's getting out there. Obviously, you'd hope that wherever the source code goes, that it gets preserved somewhere, is just locked up. Like this is preservation. And of course, and it's clear in some of these articles that when you're buying this stuff, you're not the author of you're not the owner of the source code, because you bought what the source code's on. The source code's still owned by the company that owns the rights to, Leisure Suit Larry and all these other games. So that's an important thing to keep in mind as well. But for game preservation, you hope that this stuff gets properly preserved, obviously, because it's an important piece of history.
Yeah.
I mean, Leadership Larry is not Legend of Zelda, but it's still important for game history. You know what I mean? Like, it's
all
still,
of this Sierra stuff is important to game history.
I went through the video. I don't think you had a chance to go through all of it. Al Lowe, I met him. Extremely nice guy. So yeah, he's like 72, and yeah, he's just it's time to get rid of the stuff. He's retiring. You know, why not? Why not go to a home of people want this stuff? So I'd be interested in bidding on. We'll see what else he puts up for auction. He went through a game called Troll's Tale. I never heard of that one. It'd be interesting what stuff like that Gelfling Adventure, when that gets up there, if there's any weird Dark Crystal fans out there to bid that up, or to get that.
I want to know what the Black Cauldron goes for. That was like one of my favorite games as a kid.
Was it a fun one? I never played it.
You never played Black Cauldron? That one's a classic.
Was it on Apple II? Has he played it? Or PC?
It was on Apple II and PC.
Ian, most of my games growing up were just pirated games that my dad got from his company. I mean, we weren't all rich and had real games.
It was one of the. I think that was one of the few non-pirated ones I had.
Well, there's a lot on eBay. It's not like it's a rare game. You can get it.
Oh no, I just think the source code would be.
Cool. Oh, you just want the source code.
Oh yeah, no, that's what they're talking about is the source code.
Well, we had copies of the game as well, I think, in the video.
Oh,
from what I see. So, like I said, there's a lot more here, and a lot more will come for auction. Right now, it's only a handful of things. But this gets me to the idea of Al Lowe. He's 72 now. So when he first started doing all this stuff, he's like in his early 30s. Around their late 20s. So a lot of these early developers, you see like the first run of these computer developers, they're getting up there in age now.
Yeah.
The youngest ones are probably still around 60 or so. So they're getting to the point that they probably have a lot of this stuff, and not just that, a lot of like early console developers, they might have this stuff laying around still. They figure, I'm getting older, either I should get rid of this stuff or let someone preserve this. Hopefully they're thinking that far ahead, but this could be the first of many people that start having troves of this stuff. I don't know what Ken Robert Williams have.
Yeah,
in their Sierra mansion. I have no idea what they have. They probably have a hell of a lot more. You know what I mean? Like,
holy,
just think about that.
Holy moly!
And that's just one company. Think about people that worked at EA back in the glory days of the '80s. How much stuff they have laying around. Or Epics, you get that Winter Games source code. You always,
yes.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Think about and this is like in the U.S. You have all these major companies, computer companies, that. These are individuals that made these games that they could have been working on at home. They have this stuff laying around, so there's a lot that's going to come out the next 5-10 years, I think, as these people get older, get to their golden, their golden years. So there you have it. Have you played that new Leadership, Larry? Have you seen it? It's got decent reviews. There's a new one. He comes to modern era.
No.
In a time machine.
Mm-mm.
So I just want that Space Quest game. It's been forever.
Yes, that would be nice.
Forever. I'll buy Space Quest 3 source code.